Welcome to a What's for Dinner video. I've been in a little bit of a dinner funk the past couple of weeks. I've really been keeping everything as simple as possible, and I thought, you know what? Let's get back into the groove. Our kitchen upgrade is finished. We're so happy with it. The full video will be linked down below. And I thought, let's pick up the camera and just share a little bit of dinners and what I try and do to keep things very simple. So we woke up to a pretty chilly day, and I've been wanting to make a meatloaf. And I have some stovetop left over from Christmas. It was on sale for $1 a box, so I bought a few. And I went to Google, did a Google search, and found a very simple recipe that had really good reviews. So here it is. I'm going to do a double meatloaf. So I'm going to do 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 boxes of stovetop, 4 eggs. I'm going to do a cup of water, and I read it quickly, so I thought the ketchup was to go on top, so I skipped it, but I probably should have added a little bit more ketchup or water now that it's cooked. But when I mixed it up, it was easy. I just put everything in a bowl, mixed it all up. It was pretty wet because of the eggs, but then I know that the stovetop is going to absorb all of that. But anyways, I put it into the oven, 350 degrees, and then let's see what we have to go with it. I got very small Walmart pickup order, mostly just produce. So I got some sweet potatoes and a salad kit. I thought this would be a good combination. And the biggest thing is having leftovers. I want to have leftover meatloaf and then also some sweet potatoes. And the thing I love about this broccoli crunch salad is even the next day, it's still good. I just really love these salad kits. And a couple of nights ago, I made some tortellini with peppers, and I'm going to heat that up for our son too, just so he has something else because he doesn't really like the salad. So while the meatloaf is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and peel the sweet potatoes, and I'm also just going to dice them up. I put some of this garlic plus seasoning on it with some olive oil. I have parchment paper on the baking sheet to make for an easier cleanup, and as you can see, Hunter just arrived for his supervising shift, so we are going to go ahead and get the sweet potatoes in the oven underneath the meatloaf. After 50 to 55 minutes, I took the meatloaf out and I just put some of this Bullseye Guinness barbecue sauce on it. The salad is mixed up. I'm heating the tortellini, and I was also able to get the sweet potatoes up to the top, and now I have room to put the meatloaf in there to finish it off. So here's the finished plate. This was delicious. It was a really good meatloaf. Salad was great, and then the sweet potatoes, I just put some of this jalapeno lime aioli on it. We got it from Costco. It was a double pack. I like this one. My husband likes the chipotle one. I really like this to put on sweet potatoes. So this is it for dinner tonight, and the best part about it is that there is leftovers. So you're going to see all of this later in the video. So we have some of the broccoli salad left, lots of sweet potatoes, and also lots of meatloaf. I have a couple ideas of what I want to do with it, but only time will tell. So anyways, I'm going to cover all of these up and put them in the fridge, and I'll see you tomorrow for dinner. It warmed up a little bit the next day, and I thought, let's have some barbecue. I got this new seasoning at Costco, Kinder's Prime Steak, but I'm using it on chicken, and I really like it. I really like their spice blends, and then I also have some Bullseye chicken and rib barbecue sauce. Everything is here for my husband. He's going to do the barbecuing, take care of this part of dinner. I had a couple of tortillas in the pantry, so I'm going to use these for our son. A couple of wraps, and it helps with his texture and food sensory issues. And then I'm going to the fridge for everything else. I did make a breakfast casserole again. I did it before. I'll link that video down below. So I have some of the broccoli salad left. There's some potato salad from Costco I would like to get cleaned up. And then there's some sweet potatoes for our son. He doesn't like the potato salad. And that's what I did. I just used the barbecue steak and cleaned out some things from the fridge. This was my husband's plate, the 2 different kinds of salad. I heated up a lot of the sweet potatoes, so I gave some to my husband, and then our son has grapes, 2 wraps, and the sweet potatoes, and then this is my plate. Nice big barbecue chicken breast and the 2 different salads, and it cleaned these things up. So I was very happy about it, but I also wanted to make sure that there was some chicken left over because I am going to use this for a lunch the next day. And I think I'm going to do a lot more barbecue chicken because there is so much that you can do with them. So that is it for dinner tonight. Now we're just going to take a little peek into the refrigerator. I do have a lot of stuff prepped, and this is one of the things that I like to do. Instead of doing like a big separate food prep, I like to use leftovers. So I know I have all of the basics, and then on these two shelves is where I kind of keep the fresh stuff or anything that's left over. And this is my favorite part of the fridge. So we do have some of the breakfast casserole left for the next morning, but I do want this chicken breast for lunch. And then I'm kind of seeing like what else is there. I have some spinach, some broccoli. I do have some potatoes and onions. I do have another dill pickle salad. And that's really good because on this day, it got really warm and our air conditioning is done. It's quit. It needs to be completely replaced. So that's going to factor into what some of our meals look like too, because I don't want to heat up the house any more than I need to. So we are really going to be keeping things simple and using the air fryer and the barbecue as much as possible. So anyways, I do have a cucumber and I've had the spinach. So we're going to go ahead and make a nice, quick, easy lunch using some of the things that are in my refrigerator. My husband is working from home today, so I knew I wanted to have something for lunch. So I picked up these high protein tortillas. I've heard really good things about them. It's 13 grams of protein for one, and then like it has higher fiber. The protein's really good, so I'm going to give these a try. There was 6 of them for $4. I think I got them at No Frills. And I like that there's 6. It's a good number. Sometimes it was like 10 or 12 and I find it's too much. So I'm going to give these a try. So I just heated up the oven just a little bit to kind of like heat them up. And then I'm going to use this chicken breast. I have some spinach, some cheese, some Miracle Whip, the cucumber, and then I also have some hummus to use up. So I'm just going to go ahead, create a little bit of a sandwich wrap and come up with kind of a cold plate for lunch. I like to do these. I like to have staples in my refrigerator, pull them all out, and then get creative and make something for lunch. And I try and do it in a way that if I went out for lunch, would I order this? And I think I'm going to have some luck today. Here's the finished product. It wasn't really the greatest presentation, but the wrap was delicious. I would buy these again, 10 out of 10. The chicken, the barbecue sauce with the spinach, cheese, and the Miracle Whip worked. A little bit of hummus and cucumbers left over to enjoy another time. And this was a really nice lunch. We ate it outside. It was beautiful. Now it's time for dinner. I'm keeping it really simple. I have some of the meatloaf here. I put a little bit of water in the bottom and I'm going to put aluminum foil on it. I'm going to put it in the oven. There was a breeze, so we had everything open. And I'm going to throw the sweet potatoes in the air fryer and then cut up the broccoli. So what I do for the broccoli, I learned this from HelloFresh. I do 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of butter, heat it up, and then I add in the broccoli and just kind of saute it, put a little bit of seasoning on it, and then sometimes I add a little bit more water just to kind of steam the vegetables. I really like it, and I find they're really nice and green. Here's the finished product. It wasn't the prettiest looking, but it was really good, really easy cleanup, and I took what we had for dinner 2 nights earlier, kind of did the same thing, but did it a little bit different, but the biggest thing was we didn't eat it 2 nights in a row. Now it's the next day. I got some meatloaf left over and I'm going to get creative and make something. So we have the cucumbers and hummus. We're going to munch on them. I have some of this yogurt. It's cappuccino. My husband really likes coffee yogurt. So I did that and then put some of this crispy light granola. This granola is not very sweet, but it is crunchy, a little bit higher in protein. And then I'm going to get creative and make something for lunch. And I was thinking about, as I was making this, I was thinking about this show that I used to watch years and years ago about they would show up on somebody's door and they'd make like dinner using leftovers. So I quickly went to Google and it was called door knock dinners. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking what I have and just coming up with something. So I put a little bit of cream cheese on the wrap, and then I'm going to do some spinach. And what I did was I took the piece of meatloaf that was left, I cut it all up, I added a little bit more barbecue sauce and heated it all the way through. So that was heating through as I did all of this, and then I just have like chunks of meatloaf and it's almost like little meatballs. And then I'm just putting it on the wrap. So the wraps were a little bit smaller, so I'm like, oh no, this is going to be really messy. So I kind of played around with it a little bit, and then it kind of unwrapped, And then when I went to rewrap it, it kind of like made me think of something. So I went and I grabbed toothpicks. There's Hunter. He's on another supervisor shift, and Linus sits in the bed and watches everything that's going on. So my husband's working from home again, and I'm trying to come up with something for lunch. So I think this worked out really great. There it is. I put the toothpick in, just going to wash my hands because it was really messy. And then let's see what the finished product looks like. I love to do things like this. Like, I love to look in the refrigerator, see what I have, and get creative. The only thing is sometimes it's hard to do it again because you're using leftovers. But honestly, this was amazing. I was impressed with it. So door knock dinners, I remember that show. As soon as I looked it up, it all came back to me, and they would get really creative, and people had a lot of leftovers. So it is a very hot day today, and we are having burgers and a dill pickle salad. And I also have some French fries that were open, so we're going to finish them off in the air fryer. This was dinner. Dill pickle salad, some pickles, nice cheeseburgers, and a little bit of French fries. It was really good and a really easy cleanup. It's the next day. I was gone most of the morning and I needed something quick and easy for dinner, so I think we're gonna have hot dogs. So I had to go into the drugstore and I just grabbed some hot dog buns, but I want to have some lunch. So I have this chicken Schnitzel cutlet. I opened these up. We ate 3 of them. There's 1 left. And I knew that this was in the freezer, so I am going to put this in the air fryer, and I'm going to use it with that dill pickle salad. But while it's waiting, I'm going to have one of these yogurt drinks. I stocked up on these when they were on sale for $2. It's 24 grams of protein. They are a little bit tart because there's no added sugar, but I do really like to have them. And that's one of those things where if there's something on sale, I do want to take advantage of it. And I think it really helped me on this day because I was starving. So instead of kind of snacking and grazing, waiting for the chicken to cook, I just kind of sat down, looked on my phone, and then drank the yogurt drink while the chicken was cooking. And here's the finished product. I love this combination of these salad kits just with some warm chicken. Sometimes I use like chicken nuggets, chicken strips, or just leftover meat that we have. And this was the perfect lunch. It was high in protein with the yogurt. It was crunchy. It was also warm with the chicken, and it was just the perfect lunch on a really busy day. I could have went through drive-thru, but I knew that I had some items available for my lunch. Those Taylor Farm salads are excellent helpers to have this time of the year. I was so happy to have that in the refrigerator, and knowing that I had that chicken cutlet, it was the perfect lunch. It was filling, it was satisfying, but I think the yogurt drink really helped by upping the protein, and it kept me full and satisfied until dinner. So my plan for dinner was to have hot dogs, and it didn't happen. So earlier that day, it was the morning, my husband and I were having coffee, and I'm going over everything in my head, and I said, what am I gonna make for dinner? I said, I don't know what to make, so I thought I'd ask my husband to see if he had a suggestion. So I said, here, Steve, okay, there's a really good chance that there's a thunderstorm right around dinner time, so barbecue, not barbecue. It's gonna be really, really hot and humid, and our air conditioning is broken. I said, what are you gonna make for dinner? He kind of sat there for a couple of minutes, and he said, I'm not. He goes, I get this thing he said that was on sale, some kind of chicken. And I'm like, no, I said, I want to make dinner tonight. And I had to do something at the drugstore, and I knew that they had bread there, so I picked up the hot dog buns. And when I came in looking forward to making lunch, the heat and the humidity hit me, and I said, I am not making dinner. So I texted my husband. I said, okay, whatever you wanted for dinner, grab it. I said, it's too hot, all of that. So I was very glad that he picked it up. Then we had the big thunderstorm, huge downpour, and then it cooled down a bit. We were able to open everything up, and then I was able to get everything cleaned up, all of the plates and cutlery, and run the dishwasher. So I didn't say get off my routine too much, but I was so thankful that I didn't have to cook dinner. There was a little bit of a cleanup, but not too much. And I think that's the biggest thing the past couple of weeks why I've been in a little bit of a funk with dinner is, one, we were waiting for our kitchen upgrade to be done. It's all done. We love it. We're so happy with it. Full video link down below. And the second was the weather has been all over the place. It's been cold. It's been hot. it's been okay. I never knew what to make from day to day because it would be freezing cold, you're wanting soup, and the next day would be so hot and humid that you had leftovers, but you're like, oh, I don't really want that. I want something more kind of fresh and on the barbecue. So I think we're finally in a better place where the weather is going to be more consistent and my focus is going to be protein and fresh. So I think moving forward, I'm going to keep it simple, but I think I have a better plan with getting dinner on the table. And I really hope that you enjoyed seeing how I like to use leftovers. Some people don't like leftovers. I do. I'm the one making dinner every night, and if somebody doesn't like leftovers, you make dinner. That's what I would say. But my husband, I am so thankful I have a husband that is not picky. Our son, if he likes it, he would eat the same thing every night. So I have some things that are working with me. And just thinking about that show, Door Knock Dinners, I remembered like they would have like roast beef, or, you know, they'd go in the freezer and there'd be like this mystery thing and they're like, oh, that's like shrimp or something. So they'd make like this really nice dinner, you know, whatever condiments and stuff. And I really liked it. I think it would do really great. But I think it was Gordon Elliott's. Whenever I saw it, I was like, okay, I remember some of them, but I just remembered them showing up at the door, going through their fridge and seeing what there was for leftovers. But I like to use leftovers and not let them go to waste in the kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed seeing what's for dinner, but also how I try and have leftovers specifically to make dinner easier on another night or to use for lunch, because grocery prices are very expensive, and I find having leftovers from dinner actually helps my grocery bill instead of buying like lunch meat. Holy cow, is lunch meat ever expensive? And having something just for lunch, I find it's better to have a little bit of extra protein and all of those staple vegetables to come up with something pretty quick and easy for lunch. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more food content, and I will talk to you all soon.